Hi all, I was doing the clean up out at Morford, what do you call it, Morisset way, and I found his book, and it's the book of Sunday at Home. It's like a sort of um, magazine book, so it's sort of like a book but advertising. But interesting is, I haven't seen many online. It's in the 18th century, but there's a lady in it. You see there, Miss something Brown. She came from England in 1848, I think it is there. Born on the 18th of June, 1848. So she came from England to Australia. Ellen Brown, 1948. So 13th of June, 1848. Ellen Brown was a natural thingy. Kent, England. Was born in 1849 and died at West Manse on Sunday, February the 1902. In the 48th year of her age, under the... Right, so she came from England to Australia and brought this book with her. And she was from Kent in England. So she came to Australia and then she went to, I think, Singleton Church up there. There was a, if you go out towards Singleton, I think there's a church there, a monastery or something, church thing. She was working there. The Church of Firstborn Written in Heaven. She was specially something about, I can't read very good. Read it because it's hard. Such as she was at Singleton, I know that. It says something in here about she was working. There's a little quote at the top there. She was at Singleton Church, and then she died in Australia, I think, or she died back overseas. But there's a history of her. This is from 1848, so it's a book, family magazine for Sebastian Pacings, I think it is, 1891-92. So she must have bought the book in 1891 and then brought it over to Australia, or bought it in Australia in that time. So, sort of a bit about it. It's sort of Tom, some really interesting things. It was, if you really like to read something from 18th century, Jesus and some lady, Mary, I think, is it? So they're Mary and, I can't read, it's upside down. So if you're religious and you really want a religious book for the masses' use, so it's a really interesting book. So I don't know, it's really old. It's like a magazine, like, you know, we get magazines and things. So very history of England. So I looked on the net and I cannot find, I've only found one, and that was in England Museum. So interesting. Yeah, Sunday at Home. Tom had on Sachs. It's a really interesting book to read. Some really nice writing in it. Well, I don't have the phone to pick it up. There you go. So if you know anyone's interested in buying it, I don't know if you were, because it's quite rare and it's bad shape. Could do a book restore. Sunday at Home. Sunday Stories. There was some more info written inside. I think it was in the back. Right up. It's hanging on by it's been around the bloody world, this thing. So it's fallen apart. There's more history about her at the back. Miss L's Anne Price. So somebody whose last name's Price in Australia might think it's a family thing. Miss Price always took a keen tolerance in church, where she made a wide circle of friends. She lived to Cessnock for 10 years, and prior to that has been a resident of Wallsend for close to a quarter of a century. She is survived by 2 sons and 2 daughters, named George, Sonny, Fries, Mrs. Eves and York, and Miss J. Bucker Land, and Charlie Brown Price. Not Charlie Brown. The funeral left her in presence 19 Cubong Street on Monday afternoon. Now it tells you history when she was born and when she died, and she was a martyr, a priest, what do they call them? Lady of the cloth, lady, church lady. Some more history about her. So it could be interesting. Somebody that lives at Wallsend or something. It says there a bit more about her. Born 1896. There's somebody else in it. Something about a marriage and stuff like that. So could find somebody that lives at Wallsend with Price for their last name. Little Jane Price, born the 2nd of September 1925. So if she's still alive, she'd be at least 85, 90 years old. If she's still alive. So there's a little bits and pieces all through the book about this lady. So it's a church book. It's sort of English magazine verse. Before things fall apart. Terrible, bad. But they're very rare to find. So there you go, very rare book. And a really nice history of some lady who came from England and worked at Cessnock in a church and lived at Wallsend. So there you go. Might be something interesting for somebody who wants to read about England. So it's got 1892 on the book. So it's quite an old book, 100 and something years old. So it's heritage. So it's 100 years, isn't it? I don't know, books go to heritage when they're over 100 years. So there you go. So if anyone's interested or knows someone wants to buy it or wants to know about the lady inside, give us a yell and I'll post it to you if you want to read it. Or if you come to the church, just give us a yell and I'll bring it in and you can have a read. It's really interesting about this lady who come from England. Mum might like it, I don't know. She knows about England. And all the stuff in the book is all about England and stories about England and things like that. So I did show Mum, but she wasn't interested much. But she might be. Alright, thanks for watching. So if you know anybody that's interested in buying it, I don't know how much it's going to would sell for. I might take it into the Reese's bookshop or the one at the junction. There's a bookshop there. They might tell me what it's worth. Might be worth $10, might be worth 10,000. I have no idea. Wish it was worth $10,000. Be cheering, wouldn't I? But it's the only one I can find. There's only 2 copies. I found 1 copy in England, and that was in the museum. So there's many left around at this time after 100 and was it 92? So that'd be 100 and God, brain's going slow. 117, 125 years old. There you go, a book 125 years old. History of England and the history of a lady that came from England to Australia. So if you like history, it might be really interesting for you to read. Thanks. Bye.